Resilience has often been promoted and sought in educational, institutional, or political settings as a desirable personal trait linked to success and emotional strength. But sometimes it could pave the way to some ugly, unhealthy work culture and expectations, whether it be in workplaces or at schools. Today's motion: this House regrets the glorification of resilience. We agree fully to the motion. The glorification of resilience is often harmful and is potentially unhealthy within a certain setting in the long term. But first, let's start with some contextualization in order to crystallize the discourse. First, what we mean by resilience here is the ability of individuals to endure hardship, adapt to adversity, and bounce back from difficult circumstances. What we mean by the glorification of resilience here means society's expectation imposed towards the individual to be perpetually resilient, even in times of tranquility or easiness that otherwise does not require the resilience mentality. This is especially prevalent in Indonesian societies. Third, as resilience is largely sought after in education and institutional settings, as I've stated before, our scope of focus here today is education and institutions, for example, but not limited to workplaces. Finally, this motion expects us to talk about the glorification of resilience as a whole, not focused on the resilience trait on its own. And to clear up some technicality, I'd like to clarify a few things. Number one, regretting the glorification of resilience will denounce the resilience culture commonly encountered at schools or workplaces that will eventually morph into unrealistic work expectations if left unchecked. Number two, as this glorification of resilience has have the potential to turn into unrealistic expectations, we seek a more moderate approach to work culture that eventually won't become something chimeric or unhealthy. By understanding that each individual have their own ways to work, to cope with adversity, and their own different tolerance to adversities, we already contribute to this stance. And now, moving to my main argument. We regret the glorification of resilience that is commonly found at schools or workplaces that could lead to unhealthy work standards and expectations. Second, we also regret the multitudes of unrealistic societal expectations caused by said glorification. The glorification of resilience, as I've stated before, has led to many societal issues of today. Um, it's not limited to just lower than standard wages or conformist environments that does not allow for personal freedom in workplaces or at schools, um, or ridiculously heavy workloads and student stress, etc., etc., are some byproducts of the glorification. If we still intend to keep this charade up and expect people to suffer while they keep getting buried under long work hours, and we keep imposing ridiculous standards on their on their work, in the long run, humanity won't progress, and humans will find it more and more impossible to find happiness in their own lives. Surely it's very unhealthy when we expect children to stay at school for hours longer than they could handle, or when corporations underpay an employee forced to work overtime under the guise of experience or resilience building. And glorification of resilience has unfortunately seeped into many aspects of our lives to the point that it's almost normalized or hard to notice or point out. I mean, some people will notice it, but nobody is brave enough to do something about it. Nobody is brave enough to take action. And evidence of this is many people in Indonesia, especially in urban areas, become wage slaves to corporations, barely making enough for a living because of glorification of resilience. Many students also in Indonesia are expected to stay at school or study for an unrealistically excessive amount of time. Hitherto, the glorification of resilience has overall been harmful to society's well being as a whole. We regret the normalization of glorification of resilience and its adverse effects on humanity, and we seek to denormalize this culture. And so we regret the glorification.